think you're confident? That might just be your ego talking. Let's explore how it can blind us to our true potential. In today's video, we're diving deep into Ego is the Enemy, the revolutionary book by Ryan Holiday. If you're someone who's chasing success, navigating failure, or simply trying to find balance in a world that constantly pushes you to be the best, this video is for you. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll see just how ego, yes, your own ego, might be the greatest obstacle in your path. Let's face it, we all have dreams and ambitions. Maybe you want to start your own business, write that book you've been dreaming of, or even climb the corporate ladder. But have you ever stopped to think about how often ego sneaks in and derails your progress? How many times have you found yourself too afraid to ask for help because you've got it all figured out, or pushed people away because you don't need them? That's the ego at work, and if left unchecked, it can be devastating. Here's the thing. Ego is tricky. It's not just about arrogance or overconfidence. It's that little voice inside your head that tells you you're the most important person in the room, that your successes are yours alone, and that failures, they're never really your fault. It convinces you to seek constant recognition, to be defensive, to avoid being a beginner again. Sound familiar? We're going to dive into how to stay humble when success comes your way, how to avoid letting passion blind you from the hard work, and how to turn every failure into a stepping stone for growth. And trust me, whether you're an entrepreneur, an aspiring leader, or someone looking to find more balance in life, these lessons are not just eye-opening, they're transformative. So, if you're ready to get real about how ego might be controlling more of your life than you think, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump into this deep dive on Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Let's go. Let's begin by diving into one of the most misunderstood concepts, ego. According to Ego is the Enemy, Ryan Holiday defines ego as an inflated sense of self, a part of us that craves admiration and recognition, often at the expense of reality. Ego distorts how we see the world, how we perceive our achievements and failures, and even how we interact with those around us. Think about it this way. Ego is that voice in our heads that tells us we deserve more, that we're the center of attention, or that the world owes us something. And while it might feel good in the moment, it sets us up for a dangerous cycle of entitlement and dissatisfaction. Take the case of an entrepreneur. Imagine someone who just launched a successful startup. Everything is going well. Instead of appreciating the hard work of the team that got them there, the entrepreneur credits only themselves for the success. Over time, this mindset will alienate their team, weaken relationships, and ultimately, undermine their future success. Think about it this way. Ego is that voice in our heads that tells us we deserve more, that we're the center of attention, or that the world owes us something. And while it might feel good in the moment, it sets us up for a dangerous cycle of entitlement and dissatisfaction. Why does this happen? Because ego distorts reality. It convinces us that we are the sole drivers of our success, that others' contributions are insignificant, and that we alone deserve all the praise. But in reality, no success is ever the work of one person. The first step in overcoming ego is becoming aware of it. Pay attention to your thoughts and reactions. Are you taking too much credit? Are you deflecting responsibility when things go wrong? Ask yourself, am I seeing things as they really are, or is my ego distorting my view? Awareness is the key to recognizing when ego is taking control, and only then can you start to manage it. We've all done it, talked about our dreams, our aspirations, the big goals we want to achieve. I want to write a best-selling book. I'm going to start my own business. But here's the catch. Talking isn't the same as doing. Ryan Holiday warns us that our ego loves to talk about what we will do because it feels like progress. In reality, though, all we're doing is procrastinating. The more we talk, the less we act. Imagine someone who constantly talks about starting a podcast. They tell everyone they know about the equipment they're going to buy, the topics they're going to cover, and how it's going to be a hit. But months go by and they still haven't recorded a single episode. Why? Because the ego loves the comfort of planning, but it avoids the hard work of execution. The truth is, talking about your goals makes you feel like you're already on the path to achieving them. But talking is not action. Ego convinces us that planning is progress, and that's how we get stuck. Stuck in a cycle of never-ending preparation and no execution. Here's a challenge. The next time you catch yourself talking about what you're going to achieve, stop. Instead, ask yourself, what have I done today to make this happen? Every day, take one concrete action that brings you closer to your goal. Let your actions speak louder than your words. One of the most common pieces of advice you'll hear in self-help is, follow your passion. It's exciting, it's energizing, and it feels like the right thing to do. But here's the harsh truth. Passion alone won't get you far. In Ego is the Enemy, Ryan Holiday argues that passion can actually become a distraction. The ego loves passion because it makes us feel important and driven. But what ego hates is discipline, because discipline is hard, and it requires consistent effort, even when passion fades. Think about someone who is passionate about fitness. They love working out. They post about it all the time, but they never stick to a consistent routine. They're passionate, yes, but without discipline, that passion won't result in long-term progress. Muscle isn't built on passion. It's built on regular, consistent effort. Passion gets you started, but discipline keeps you going. And this is where ego can trap us. It convinces us that as long as we're passionate, we'll succeed. But passion without action is just daydreaming. Success comes from showing up, day in and day out, even when the passion isn't there. Balance your passion with discipline. Passion may spark your interest, but discipline is what will keep you on the path when things get tough. Ask yourself, what small, consistent actions can I take today that align with my passion? Over time, it's not the passion that will make the difference. Success is often a double-edged sword. It's the work you put in. On one hand, it's the reward for your hard work and dedication. But on the other hand, success can feed your ego in dangerous ways. After achieving something great, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you've made it, that you no longer need to learn or grow. Ryan Holiday calls this the death of learning. The greatest leaders and most successful people never stop being students. Consider the case of a CEO who has built a successful company. They could easily sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor, but instead they continue to attend seminars, read books, and seek mentorship. They understand that success doesn't mean you've arrived. It means you've got to work even harder to stay relevant and keep growing. The ego wants us to believe that after success we know it all. But the truth is, the moment you stop learning is the moment you start falling behind. The world is constantly changing, and the most successful people are those who stay humble, stay curious, and always keep learning. After a major win, remind yourself, this is just the beginning. Approach every new challenge with a beginner's mindset. Stay open to new ideas, new strategies, and new ways of thinking. Humility is the foundation for continued growth. Ego often leads us to believe that we deserve more than we've earned. This sense of entitlement drives the need for control, as we feel that we alone know best. In Ego is the Enemy, Ryan Holiday explains that ego thrives on this false sense of superiority. When things don't go as planned, the ego quickly turns to blame and paranoia, thinking others are working against us. Think of a manager who micromanages their team, believing that they alone are responsible for the success of the project. This excessive control, fueled by ego, leads to resentment from the team and stifles innovation. Ask yourself, am I trying to control too much because I think I know better? Practice letting go and trusting others. Remember, teamwork and collaboration often yield better results than going it alone. Throughout history, many leaders, entrepreneurs, and public figures have fallen from grace due to hubris, excessive pride, and arrogance. Ego blinds us, making us believe that we are invincible or above the rules. Ryan Holiday emphasizes that humility, not hubris, is the true path to sustained success. Humility allows us to see reality clearly, make better decisions, and foster genuine relationships. Look at the story of Napoleon Bonaparte. His ego and hubris led him to overextend his empire, ultimately resulting in his downfall. On the flip side, leaders like Abraham Lincoln, known for their humility, navigated crises with wisdom and long-lasting impact. When you achieve success, remind yourself that no one is above learning and no one is immune to failure. Practice humility by acknowledging the contributions of others and being open to feedback. One of the key lessons from Ego is the Enemy is to create and maintain your own scorecard. The ego constantly looks for external validation, whether it's praise, recognition, or applause. But true success comes from setting your own standards and measuring your progress against those. When we rely too much on others to define our worth, we become prisoners to their opinions. Take social media influencers as an example. Many measure their success by the number of likes or followers they have. But those numbers don't necessarily reflect the quality of their work or the value they provide. Ego traps them in a cycle of seeking external approval, rather than focusing on their own growth. Set personal goals based on what matters most to you. Ask yourself, am I pursuing this goal because it aligns with my values, or because I want recognition from others? Stay true to your own scorecard. Ryan Holiday introduces the concept of alive time and dead time to explain how we can make the most of our opportunities. Dead time is when we let moments slip by, waiting for something to happen or wasting time. Alive time, on the other hand, is when we use those moments to learn, grow, or make progress. Picture someone stuck in traffic. Instead of zoning out and getting frustrated, they listen to an educational podcast, using that time to learn something new. That's alive time. The ego loves dead time because it requires no effort, but turning those moments into productive ones is key to growth. The next time you find yourself with free time, ask, how can I make the most of this moment? Whether it's reading, planning, or reflecting, use every opportunity to turn dead time into alive time. At the heart of Ego is the Enemy lies the philosophy of Stoicism. Ryan Holiday draws heavily on Stoic teachings to explain how we can control our ego and live a more meaningful life. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, accept what we cannot, and remain indifferent to external praise or blame. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, ruled as Emperor of Rome. Yet he remained humble and grounded. He practiced the art of controlling his ego and focusing on doing his duty, rather than seeking glory. Start practicing Stoic principles in your daily life. Whenever you feel your ego taking over, ask yourself, is this within my control? Am I seeking external validation? By grounding yourself in Stoic philosophy, you can keep your ego in check. We've explored how ego can distort our reality, affect our relationships, and prevent us from achieving lasting success. But with awareness, humility, and discipline, we can overcome the traps of ego and unlock our true potential. Remember, ego is the enemy, but it is a manageable one. Take these lessons from Ryan Holiday and apply them to your own life to see real, lasting change. Today, challenge yourself to recognize your ego in action. Ask yourself, am I focusing too much on how I look to others, or am I genuinely working toward my goals? Keep learning, keep growing, and keep that ego in check. So there you have it. Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy isn't just a book filled with advice. It's a blueprint for personal growth, success, and most importantly, balance. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or someone simply trying to navigate life's ups and downs, understanding how ego operates in your life can truly be a game changer. We've covered some critical lessons today. How ego can trick us into procrastination, how it can blind us with passion while keeping us from doing the real work, and how, if left unchecked, it can turn failure into a permanent setback. But we've also learned that ego is something we can manage, control, and even use to our advantage if we stay humble, stay disciplined, and remain forever a student of life. I want you to remember that ego isn't something you eliminate entirely. It's something you learn to recognize and control. And the most successful people aren't the ones with the biggest egos. They're the ones who understand that growth requires humility. They know that the journey doesn't end when you reach success. It's just the beginning. Here's a challenge I want to leave you with. Over the next week, pay attention to the moments when ego starts to influence your decisions. Maybe it's during a conversation when you feel the need to prove yourself, or when you take all the credit for a team effort, or even when you avoid asking for help because you think you should already know the answer. Just notice those moments. And when you notice it, stop. Take a breath and ask yourself, is this my ego talking, or is this the real me trying to grow? That small moment of awareness is the key to mastering your ego and unlocking your full potential. Remember, self-awareness is the foundation of growth. By applying these lessons, you'll find that success isn't just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it. And when you can keep your ego in check, you'll not only build stronger relationships and accomplish more, you'll also experience deeper, more lasting satisfaction with your life and work. So I encourage you to take what you've learned today and apply it, whether it's in your career, your personal life, or even your creative pursuits. The next time ego tries to steer you off course, you'll know exactly how to bring it back into balance. And trust me, the results will speak for themselves. Now, if this video helped you in any way, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. What part resonated with you the most? Maybe it's something you've struggled with, or maybe you've had a big aha moment while watching. Sharing your thoughts not only helps you reflect, but also helps others who might be facing the same challenges. And if you're ready to dive deeper into personal development, business strategies, or more insights from powerful books like Ego is the Enemy, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. We've got plenty more lessons to explore together. Also, if you know someone who could benefit from this message, maybe a friend, a colleague, or even a family member, feel free to share this video with them. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh perspective to make a huge difference in someone's life. Remember, success isn't about having the loudest voice or the biggest ego. It's about staying humble, continuously learning, and letting your hard work speak for itself. And trust me, when you manage your ego, you'll see the doors of opportunity open in ways you never imagined. Thank you so much for watching today. Until next time, stay humble and keep growing.